say the man had properly declared his weapon prior to boarding, but he caused momentary panic at baggage claim when he displayed that weapon publicly. This is ABC News.
The opportunities are red hot in the Houston economy. Ask yourself, am I positioned to prosper from the financial boom happening right now? Whether you work from a 1099 or a W-2, each week, Johnny Profit with the Executive Entrepreneur will help you leverage your talent, experience, and connections. Act now. Business-minded people just like you deserve a piece of prosperity from the world's energy capital. Phone lines are open. Dial 713-622-6397. Follow us on your social media platform of choice at EE Hour or email your questions and comments to online@eehour.com. Now here's your host, Johnny Profit.
Welcome back. We have another week behind us. Hopefully it was a very productive week for you. A lot happened, and I don't even know where to start sometimes. But one of the things that I do know is I like this word of the day thing. So I don't really have a word of the day. I got 2 words of the day today. Earlier this morning, I had the opportunity to get over to the Small Business Exchange that was held by the Urban League. I think the first place winner is going to pick up like $5,000 today. Kiera's over there with me. Joe's in studio. Daniel's here with me. Shay's in the other control room with Joe. But so I went over there, and it was cool. I gave one of my noise talking presentations. It happens. But anyway, so the thing that really stood out this week is I had a few client visits. I had a lot of Go Pet stuff. That's a scooter that we push. So, it's fun to talk about business when you're actually in business. I'm just saying. But it had to do with the difference between the leaders you pick, the people you follow. And the one thing I've noticed over and over again has to do with folks have a choice. Sometimes they don't know they have a choice. But there's 2 types of leaders out there. There's the victory leader and there's the victim leader. And way too often I run across people that have been brainwashed by victim leaders. These are people out there that believe someone's going to come out there and rescue them. If they wait, if they hold on, if they just keep just studying and not really even being involved, that it's going to work out for them. And I've noticed that these people become actually victimized because at no point have I ever seen in my career or tenure or time in business has someone made it just because they sat back on their behind and it happened. So the victory leader, on the other hand, is that individual that says, you know what? I don't care what comes my way. I'm going to make it happen. And when people make excuses, they walk away or they say, step up your game. But I've noticed of the majority of the folks out here searching for information about how do you run your business? How do you become a better executive? How do you become a better entrepreneur? The information they're taking in, it's garbage in, garbage out, because they're being taught it's the bank that will help you. It's not your fault. The market did this. This is happening. That's happening. And I notice a lot of times it has a lot to do with the commercialization, the slow it down, don't take note of the fact that the rich are getting richer and you're not. Let's just go watch an NFL game, or let's just go have a beer and chat it up and, just keep waiting your turn's coming. So with that said, I want you to be very cognitive of the fact whether or not the people that give you information, are they teaching you to be a leader? Are they leading you to victory? Are they excuseless? Are they driven? Or are we working with victims? People who make a killing off the fact that every week when you show up, you're going to give them more money, you're going to give them more airtime, you're going to give them more hype, just so they can pat themselves on the back and say how they're doing such a great job in the community and all this great stuff, when in actuality, they never taught you how to feed yourself. So I say that with all love, so no one get offended out there. And if you do, well, work it out with your therapist. So anyway, I got Joe Arbeely in studio with me. And the reason this is a very important story, one of the things I hear over and over again is, hey, John, how do you meet people that are doing good in business? And how do you approach people? So amazingly enough, we were at the gym last night. We got to talking it up. And the next thing I know, he has a really cool business. And I said, come on, Aaron, let's chat it up. Let's talk about it. That's really the same way I met Daniel, who's a writer with Redshift Writers. We were just out and about. We had like interests. And the next thing you know, we've been doing that business ever since. Kiera's the same way. She actually had me sitting over in River Oaks one night. And I was thankful for that. Even though I parked and walked up the driveway, it was a huge, long walk. That just tells you how big the front lawn was. But anyway, phone lines are open up here. We're going to go to break, and we'll come back. We're going to start talking to Joe about what he does and why it's important you know about it. So, hey, let's go to break.
News 92FM Weekend Traffic.
Watch for stop-and-go traffic, FM 1093 Road eastbound between FM 723 and Highway 99 to Grand Parkway. I-10, the Katy Freeway inbound at Highway 99 to Grand Parkway shut down due to construction. Big delays through that area. It's going to be closed till Monday morning at 5 a.m. 290 Northwest Freeway outbound at Bauer. You have the left lane blocked here between Mason and Bauer. They hope they have that picked up around 5:30 this afternoon. Gary Rice, News 92FM, 24-hour traffic.
Good day, everybody. Mario Gomez here with the weather forecast for your weekend. Dense overcast skies today here in town. Looks like we're going to see a stray shower to the north and west of the Houston area. Too dry for moisture here in town, so rain chances only at about 10% north and west of the city. Look for temperatures to only approach 70. Tonight, we're looking at still cool numbers around town. The clouds really keeping the sun at bay, holding numbers down into the mid to upper 50s. By Sunday, more sunshine allows temperatures to warm up into the low to mid 70s. The big changes come on Tuesday. As a strong Canadian air mass takes over, we'll find numbers dipping down into the mid to upper 30s with some frost likely north and west of the city. I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez from the KHOU 11 Weather Center.
Wildfires burn millions of acres each year. And each year, wildland firefighters like Fire Chief James Hall battle to contain them. But they can't do it alone.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. It can ignite and destroy your home, your community, or more. That single ember can be just as dangerous as the wildfire itself. But you can do something firefighters can't. You can act now to prepare your home and your community for wildfire. You can reduce the risk. Do your part. Go to fireadapted.org.
Get fire adapted. Learn what you can do now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Profit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
All right, so it's awesome. Catherine Flowers has entered the building. Dun, 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 dun. I got to cue up the music next time. So she's going to join us along the way here, and we're going to talk it up. I think Camille's out here as well, so Camille will come in. But Joe, welcome. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for having me.
I love it, man. So, okay, tell everybody how we met, because they won't believe me.
Well, I guess in the gym, I heard you talk to another fellow about your show.
Right.
And it was really interesting to me, so we started talking it up about that.
Yeah, so the point being, often people ask, how do you meet folks that have it going on, that you can do business with? I mean, how do you break into it? Is there some magic? Do I need to go talk to a speech pathologist or something? No, you just got to reach out and talk to folks.
Yeah.
And I was getting around to you, but I was sitting closer to the guy that was right there. So I was like, hey, what do you do? You know, both you guys look professional. And I'm thinking, I could tell these aren't slouches. So the one guy who does Snap-on, I can't remember his name, forgive me, but he does the Snap-on parts, and he was busy doing inventory. But, and Joe's like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, hey, I do radio. And the next thing you know, we kicked it off. And so I've dabbled in that arena that you're in, which I want you to talk about your business. And so I said, let's get you on air and talk about it. Last week, if you remember, we had Barry on here with Pick and Post. And we got a lot of great calls for Barry. And Barry, if you're out there listening, we need to meet up next week. So tell us about your business, the name and what you do.
Okay, I own a company called Audio Vision, and I've opened it in 1997. And pretty much we do everything from audio, video for your home, office. We do home security, networking. And, we just kind of followed the trends from all that time, 17 years.
Wow.
In the beginning, it was all about having speakers all around the house, and then it was the big home theaters, and we went through that trend. And now the big trend is actually when Apple released their iPad, it became a control trend. So now all the remotes and everything is controlled by your iPad or your iPhone, smartphone, Android. And now that's what we're doing right now. That's really big for us, is getting into it. So kind of we with the economy falling a little bit for us, builders not building, and banks not funding, it hurt us in the past 3 years. But we managed to, set trends of our own, and then also, just go after pockets of business until you succeed, until you find that new, fresh air now the building's coming back. So
it has been word of mouth. How do you do your marketing? How do you get the word out?
Fortunately, everything's been word of mouth. Our clients, we do a great job. Our service is superb. We're always there to back them up. With electronics, like your phone or anything else, electronics break.
Yeah.
So any electronic company has to have a staff that's ready to go out and take care of any issues for the clients. So, and by doing that, we've set a mark on people referring business to us.
So they're in the heart. If you're here in Houston, and I want to thank all my friends that are watching around the world, thank you very much. You're in the heart of it. You're over at Kirby, right?
Yeah,
Kirby
we're
District?
on Kirby and 59.
Yeah.
Area. We used to have a location on Highway 6 in Westheimer.
Okay.
And a lot of our clients were inside the loop, and all around. So we kind of centralized ourselves in the middle of Houston.
So what's been the biggest challenge since, let's just say, since the recession slowed and the oil and gas people moved into Houston? And
there's few challenges in the 17 years. The first biggest challenge for any retail is, of course, email. I'm sorry, not email. Online internet sales.
Gotcha.
That hurt a lot of the retail stores. But with talking to vendors and them knowing how important custom audio stores and home theater stores are, they really helped us, bring the price down for us as well. Because you're going after, you're competing with Amazon, you're competing with Best Buys. So they finally realized that, hey, we got to take care of the small business. And now we are able to compete with Amazon and Best Buy for everybody.
And the best part about it is you do the service and installation, right?
We do everything.
Yeah.
We go out and we design your system for you. Or, first it starts with a conversation really with the customer. See exactly what their needs are, what their wants are. And our experience is vast. We have a vast experience in the commercial and the residential. So we put nightclubs together, and we'll do speakers in your kitchen. We're everywhere. But by having
so you can
that,
get me into the nightclub for free.
That's right.
Okay, good.
By having that experience, we can come in and kind of have the edge on maybe other audio companies, because we can come in and point things out as like sound wall deadening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people might think it's expensive, but if you put a little bit of soundproofing in your house, it makes your sound system sound so much better.
So is it possible to build like a studio in someone's house?
You could.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people, they stream online with radio and they do things like that, and they have all kinds of neat TV shows and things from their home, and I just keep thinking, it's like the latest trend, write a book and
we're connected with 2 large vendors. That's all they sell to us is foam walls and soundproof and deadening and stuff like that for the room.
So going back to everybody's woes, how are we going to attack? Because I'll work with you at this point now that we know each other, we're buds. The whole internet presence, the online, and people going out there and price shopping everything, and then coming to you and be like, well, I can get this Alpine for this much. Or
Sure.
Are you online as far as in what aspect?
If you come to my office, I have a big screen touch computer right there, and when you come in and tell me, hey, I found this TV online, we pop it up right there, right in front of us, and I call the vendor up, and they match the price. It's just, of course, it would have to be with respectable companies like Amazon and Best Buy. You have a lot of companies out in New York and LA that maybe show you a low price, but the shipping's like 3 times the price, so it comes out about the same deal. You know what I mean? So we're aware of all that. But another thing I explain to clients is that if you buy from us and you pay the same price, but what happens when that TV breaks? What happens if you need something?
Right.
You're going to have to pay a service fee for somebody to come out. But if you buy the stuff for small business owners like Audio Vision and all these great companies out there that's doing what we're doing, we can take care of that.
Man, I love it. So number up here is 713-622-6397. Again, it's 713-622-6397. You have some questions for Joe, myself, or anyone in the studio right now. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about Joe's business, and then we're going to bring in the great Catherine Flowers.
News 92FM, weekend traffic.
Main lanes closed for road work. I-10 Katy Freeway inbound and Highway 99 to Grand Parkway. Major delays through the area. They'll pick it up Monday morning at 5 a.m. Exit 741, we got stop traffic starting here eastbound between US 90 and 99 to Grand Parkway. 19-minute delay through there. I-45 southbound between the South Samuelson Parkway and Scarsdale. Stop-and-go traffic as well as 610 northbound between Westheimer and Woodway. Gary Rice, News 92FM. 24-hour traffic.
Mario Gomez here. It does look like we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover across the area. The dense clouds are producing a little bit of light rain to the northwest of the metro area around College Station. For those of you heading back up to the game at Kyle Field this afternoon as they take on Mississippi State, look for a few isolated stray showers around game time, around kickoff. By the way, you can see that here on CBS. Here in Houston, dense overcast for the afternoon. We'll keep temperatures down below 70 for the afternoon. Tonight, again in the mid-50s, a cool night. Take your jackets if you're getting out tonight. We're going to see some big changes down the road, and we'll talk more about that in our extended forecast. For now, I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez from the KHOU 11 Weather Center.
Most of the time, you put food in hell of a good sour cream dip, but let's reverse things. And put the big, bold flavor of hell of a good in your food, like in a burger or mashed potatoes. Now that's a tasty switch. Get recipes at hellofagood.com.
Man, this stinks. I don't get paid until Friday, but my entire check is gone.
Dude, I know that feeling. I just called Novum, and they paid me for doing a clinical research study. You can earn up to $800, and that extra money sure takes the pressure off.
Wow, I'm there.
Novum Pharmaceutical Research Services is a leading company in the testing of new medications with more than 30 years' experience. If you're over 18, healthy and drug-free, visit us online at gonovum.com or call 800-586-0365.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Profit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
All right, so Faith gave you the phone number. You know what to dial. Anyway, we have now been joined by Camille Scott as well. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely talking to the mic. Catherine Flowers.
Got it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
we know that by now.
Get all up in that mic right there. Kiera's with us. Joe's with us. Daniel's with us. No one's at the glass, so we can get back to the party. So, Joe, I do want to get the information about how do they contact you once again, and then we're going to open it up for all of us to start running our mouth.
Okay. I mean, best way, of course, give us a call at 713-526-0022.
Okay.
You can also go online and check out some of our work at www.avaudiovision.com.
Okay. And if you're following us online, Daniel, are you tweeting this? The great Redshift writer himself is over there putting us all on the internet, all through social media space. So, Catherine.
Yes.
What's going on over there?
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, what can we talk about to maximize this time? And it's interesting. We all were at a conference earlier, and we were talking about opportunity. And typically, I would say preparation plus opportunity equals success. Mm-hmm. But what about access? Because I could be prepared all day long, and without connecting with the right folks, it's not going to make a difference. I'm not going to be as successful as I could be. So right. I want to talk about access. Like, how do we give people access? How do we develop quality relationships that are truly mutually beneficial so that we all could be successful?
All in favor? Aye. Any? All opposed? Okay. Motion carries. All right. So, Camille, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, let's have that conversation,
okay.
And then we can start another one if we need to.
Okay. So cool. You know how near and dear that is to me, the whole connecting,
yes.
And how important it is to be connected to the right group, mm-hmm. and be in the right place, regardless of your status, education, or gender, or any of that. I'm going to have you kick off.
Why access is important?
Mm-hmm.
Or really, because you mentioned it earlier, like it's cool that you guys met in a place. The preparation piece is not just having education, but being prepared to actually exchange a communication properly. Like some people, it's all about, the first thing people ask me as a consultant, can I get some money? Like, where can I get money for my business? Where,
I get that too.
You know, what is that about? Like, why do people feel so entitled to free money for their idea?
That's like security. Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't mean that they're not entitled to support and access. And so how do we connect the dots? Again, how do we connect the dots with quality relationships?
Yeah. Kiera, you want to jump in on it?
Sure.
Okay. Get all up in that mic so they can hear you. Midnight voice. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Phresh Factory.
So I guess to answer that question, I would say to find something that you're interested in first. It's one of those things where if you find satisfaction in the group that you're working with or participating in, if you get access today or if you get access in 10 years, depending on how much you persevere, you still feel like you're making progress in between.
Do you feel connected yet?
I feel pretty connected.
Pretty connected. Camille?
I don't think it's just about the connection, because if you're in a room, depending on where you want to go, if you're in a room full of people that are not even where you're at, they can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
So they're not the right connection.
Right.
It's, access to the right room is more important than just connection.
We had the right room last night.
That's right.
It was like 170 degrees. Like, hey. So, okay, how did you get started? That's really the question,
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had a passion for electronics ever since I was a kid. My uncle actually, I was a little kid, in the early 80s, and watching my uncle put together his huge JBL system.
Wow, I got you.
So I've always been infatuated with that and always had a passion for it.
Yeah.
And opened my first car stereo store when I was a kid. I actually was installing car stereos in my garage.
Yeah.
My parents said, you can't do this here, So, but yeah, just a lot of hard work,
right?
And it never ends, And I think what you guys were kind of pointing on of, getting out there and networking. I think the biggest challenge for me was, and what you did yesterday, was breaking the ice.
Gotcha.
I mean, you always can walk by somebody and look at them and say, "Man, let me ask him this," or let me point this out, or introduce myself, give him a business card. A lot of people are just too afraid or too shy. Which,
that's right.
In my point, I was just too shy to break the ice. And I think when you did that, when you broke the ice with the gentleman you first talking to first, I liked that, and he didn't seem too interested, so I jumped in, So,
and that is a great point.
Taking opportunities, like you said, the gentleman in front of you, he could have been here instead of you.
Sure,
yeah.
If he had taken advantage of the opportunities, you have to recognize the opportunity first before you can take advantage of it.
Sure,
and it's learned behavior. I'll tell you when I started doing it. I was back in the old days. I used to do a little sales for one of these companies around here, and I kept thinking, why do so many people on the sales team have difficult time making sales? Because they're afraid to talk to people. Mm-hmm. Yet on every corner in Houston, if you stop, there's someone bold enough to walk up to you, ask you for money, beg you for money, clean your window, and go about their business. And I'm thinking, here we have people that claim they're educated and they're this and they're that, and they're afraid to turn to the person next to them in the elevator, at the restaurant, or in the sauna at the gym and say, hey, how are you today? What's going on? So, yeah.
But that goes back to risks. I mean, many of us aren't where we should be because we're afraid to take risks to get there, or whatever that perceived risk.
What if they say no?
Right. What if they say no? Or, but just saying hello could be a risk for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
And so that's happened more times than not. And I got into the habit of reaching out to everybody in the room. Because it's always uncomfortable. Everybody's kind of looking, thinking, I want to say something. And then we're rudely interrupted by somebody with headbuds in, screaming at each other. And I'm thinking, wow, no type of awareness. But, Kiera, what do you
should have
think?
brought them in.
Yeah, right. They'd be sitting up here yelling now. Contact-wise, connection-wise, are you the outward-going person, or do they have to come to you?
I think it's both ways. I try to make sure if I'm going to make a contact that is strategic, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm friendly all the time. I think sometimes I'll just say that I do it. I think maybe my self-consciousness tells me, oh, I shouldn't talk to so-and-so, but I make myself. But I just make sure that, if that's the one time in the day that I'm going to be extra friendly, that's the time. I mean, if I'm going to reach out to someone.
So if you'd like to talk to us, let me tell you what you do. You reach down, you use voice activation if you're driving because it's dangerous out there, people. Call up here at 713-622-6397 and join the conversation. We'll be right back after this break.
News 92 FM, 92.1 FM, and streaming live at news92fm.com. News 92 FM, weekend traffic.
Watch for stop traffic on exit 741 to Frontage Road eastbound between US 90 and Highway 99 to Grand Parkway. Also stop and go traffic 610 northbound between Evergreen and Woodway, and it's slow I-45 northbound between North Loop and Tidwell. Big problem is I-10 Katy Freeway inbound at Highway 99 to Grand Parkway. That freeway shut down with construction. You got major delays through the area. They won't pick it up until Monday morning at 5 a.m. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez with some big changes ahead next week, but for the weekend, cloudy weather hangs in. Temperatures today will reach only near 70 degrees. Tonight, we're looking for lows in the mid-50s. By Tuesday, we're looking for a really strong cold front, Arctic in origin, pushing down across the state and into Houston. Slowly but surely, we're going to ramp our temperatures down. We'll start off Monday with mid-70s, though. Tuesday, with cloudy weather at 70 degrees. Increasing cloud cover as the front drifts through Tuesday evening, and we're looking for temperatures to drop down into the 30s by Wednesday morning. In fact, we're looking for mid to upper 30-degree weather to hang around right through Thursday morning, with temperatures staying in the mid to upper 50s from Wednesday through Thursday. By Friday, increasing cloud cover will mean a slight chance for rain showers by the end of the work week. I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez from the KHOU 11 Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Profit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
Okay, welcome back. So when we left out of here, we were talking about how do you break the ice? How do you make yourself accessible? I know one problem that I see quite often is people are afraid of suit and tie folks. And I say it at every meeting. Just because they have a fancy title does not mean you can't talk to them. But, Catherine, you had something to add on at the end.
Well, Kiera's strategic word was strategic. Our key word was strategic. Don't spend a lot of time working on a relationship that has no benefit to you.
Absolutely.
Another thing that, again, when they're asking for money, they want to go after the wrong people. Like, call me up. Oh, can you ask Camille to give me $1 million because I want to start an Avon company?
Camille, that's how you roll?
What does that have to do with Camille? But
yeah.
Again, going back to quality relationships.
Right.
Quality relationships are mutually beneficial, and mutual relations is strategic. Like, find those key people that can assist you and that you could do something for them too.
And sadly, go ahead, Camille.
No, I was about to say, and the ask. Sometimes you have opportunity. You get in front of key people, but then you ask for somebody that they can't relate to or they can't help you with. So you've wasted that opportunity.
Right.
I would practice in my head, just like people do an elevator pitch for their company. When you get opportunities, what are you going to say? If I'm in front of a bank president and I have an opportunity to advocate for my business, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to ask for. Just like you said, if they call you and they ask for something, you're like, but that has nothing to do with what my area of expertise is.
Right.
Yeah, and if you really want to grow your business, it's important, very, very important, to get out of your like-minded group. That's the huge problem I see. So when folks start up companies, whether they're selling multi-level marketing stuff or whether they're launching a new tech venture, they're usually around the folks they know, which in many cases, those folks don't have the resources to help them, whether it's, capital or intellectual property or anything like that. So one of the challenges, like I said, the way I reached out, it's like, there's no race, gender, there's really nothing to it. There's no barriers other than just the fear of just saying, hey, how are you? But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I know a lot of people that may be in a income bracket of less than $100,000. Most of their friends are in that bracket, and then they want to go to them and get financial and business advice.
Right.
But they want to one day approach ExxonMobil and say, hey, I'm here, give me a contract. So if you're networking, make sure you hang out at some of the fun, popular places. Joe, where do you hang out?
On Kirby.
Yeah. Actually, they hang out around Joe. I'm going to let you know that now. Yes.
One more thing. Just sometimes when you do get access to those contacts and you don't know what to do with them right then, just hang on to them.
Hang on to them.
Just try to use them sparingly and use them when it's most useful, I suppose.
Well, hang on to them and foster it. That's another thing about quality relationships. We assume that we don't need to call someone until we need something. Right. That's not what quality relationships are about. And it's not always about asking or giving. Right. It's staying in touch.
Yep.
Hey, just touching base with you to see what you have going on. Or if you have tickets to something, don't always give it to your friend. Think about those key relationships that you're trying to foster. Another strategic piece that I always, and I'm going to use Camille again because I think she's an icon in the communication industry. If you can't answer one of her questions, like if you don't have your elevator pitch, you don't have your game together. You're not ready to be strategic.
Right.
So again, think about when you think about being strategic in relationships, making them mutually beneficial, but what does that mean? Are you even ready to be a part of the team?
And that's a hard thing for people to accept. Are you ready? A lot of people feel they're ready.
She mentioned that because we ran into someone at an event that asked for my help because he wanted to run for office. And I said, why? Why would I vote for you?
It's not you. Whoever it is, it's not you.
Did not have an answer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't work. Not only would I not vote for you, I wouldn't work with you.
Right. Yeah.
So that goes back to preparation.
Right.
Preparation plus opportunity plus access equals success. So for your listeners, as they're listening to us with these conversations, even when thinking about having relationships, are you ready? What preparation have you done to get to success?
Yeah.
And it's not just going to school.
No, and I'll tell you, and I mentioned today, and I always say it over and over again, you are always the smartest in the room if you know how to use Google search. And if you can go from Google search and jump over to LinkedIn, and then you know how to search through Google's news, and you find out, oh, this person wrote something about this, because that is the biggest problem, whether it's on the executive side or the entrepreneur side, is doing your homework. And we hear it every time we're at a city function, a meet the buyers function, any of this, where someone walks up that's been doing audiovisual for years and they say, hey, XYZ company, give me the business. And they're looking at you like, you're just creating more work for us. What do you bring to the table?
Right.
Yeah. And you say, well, I want to do this. And they're thinking, we're not even in that market anymore. We don't even. And they don't take the time to do the homework, do the background on the company, and have an intelligent conversation with the buyer or the procurement person. So that homework research part, that preparedness, huge, huge, huge. And they're the first to get mad and want to start a fight afterwards. So, again, the number up here is 713-622-6397. You're listening to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour. I have Catherine, Joe, Kiera, Camille. Daniel is typing away. He is like making it possible for you to read all this. Shawana's in the other section. We're waving to her now. If you want to get in on the act, just let us know. Otherwise, the next question is, where do we go? Where do we go to network and meet? Where's the spot?
Is that a question right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to know.
You mean a physical spot?
I think people definitely take for granted. I mean, men play golf, but there are alternative sports where people are hanging out. I mean, I play tennis, and I've met some of my best relationships with people I don't know.
Yeah.
On the court, because you could go throughout Houston and find a court. But you find very diverse group of people playing that sport. So definitely work your hobbies.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally know that the school kids are a great lead-in. You're sitting there at your kids' event, find out their mom or dad happens to be someone of great interest to you, and next thing you know, relationships pop off. I also know of the local groups. I attend a lot of networking functions around industry-specific topics.
Right.
So, for instance, whether it's an economic development group, whether it's a planning group or an association has lots and lots of members and they're meeting, those are some of the places I go. And I want you to talk about where you had me, because Kiera, that was beautiful.
So, I like nonprofits. I like what they stand for. I like what they do with the community. I love that my time is being spent on something that I think is important. So I brought John to a function, basically a art show, but it was home-based. And
Jenny and Reggie. Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
Yeah. Because I always tell people volunteering is the best way to go. So when I get these startup entrepreneurs and these folks like, hey, I want to do this, but I don't have much experience and I'm not connected, I would say volunteer. Really, I'm sitting here today because of the amount of time I put in volunteering. And as Joe rolls up the music, we're going to go to break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can volunteer your way to the top.
News 92 FM. Weekend traffic.
Have an accident at US 290 eastbound at 43rd, blocking the right lane. You got stop-and-go traffic from Tidwell. Stop-and-go traffic 610 northbound between Bel Air and Woodway. And Highway 6 northbound is stop-and-go between Leaf Clodine and West Park. I-10 Katy Freeway inbound and Highway 99 to Grand Parkway. All lanes are closed for construction. They'll pick it up at 5 a.m. Monday morning. We got about a 38-minute delay through that area. Avoid it if you can. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24-hour traffic.
Mario Gomez here. It does look like we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover across the area. The dense clouds are producing a little bit of light rain to the northwest of the metro area around College Station. Here in Houston, dense overcast for the afternoon. We'll keep temperatures down below 70 for the afternoon. Tonight, again in the mid-50s, a cool night. Take your jackets if you're getting out tonight. We're going to see some big changes down the road, and we'll talk more about that in our extended forecast. For now, I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez from the KHOU 11 Weather Center.
Monday, a News 92 FM special report. J.P. Pritchard's continuing series, Healthcare Impact 2013. What it means to your health and pocketbook. On air Monday. On demand anytime at news92fm.com.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Profit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
Back. So while we were on break, the great Daniel had some wonderful suggestions. We were talking about where do you go to meet people to make it rain, to make it happen, to grow your business, whether you need politicians, whether you need financing or capital or humans to do work. Daniel, what was your suggestion?
I like seeing people at hackerspaces, places in Houston where, where developers hang out. So there are a couple of them. There's an incubator called Start Houston. It's pretty good. They hold like little Shark Tank events about once a month. They also have happy hours. They also have hackathons, things like that. They're really close with the city. They put on a lot of events. And then there's one that's a little bit more even, I wouldn't say underground, but they're like a little more techie.
Are you giving away top secret stuff here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. They're going to like hack my computer. They're going to get in here like he knows too much. Okay, go ahead.
They're pretty amazing people. No, TXRX is what they're called. And they're really, really cool. They, for example, they built a 3D printer and they printed parts on another 3D printer so that they could build it. So they actually, almost everything they printed except for nuts and bolts. Things they could order online.
Hey, you going to take me over there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's do it.
I love it. Okay, so we have a call coming in. Okay. We're going to have a call pop up in a second, but here's what I want to know. How many people go to happy hour?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do too. That's actually how Daniel and I met. We were at that after-hours networking group thing. I think it was, where you wear the badge.
Network after work.
Network after work. Yeah, we get those huge invitations, especially on LinkedIn, and that paid off. It was cool. So let's go to the phone lines, and you're listening to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour. This is John. Okay.
Very good.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What's your name?
Jean, Jean.
Hi, Jean. What's your question or comment?
My comment is I'm listening to this conversation. It's very interesting. I have my own business, and I was in the semiconductor business for years, and connections are really important, I agree, and volunteering is very important too. But if you do those things, if you take the first step, you have to follow through. My husband is a very successful businessman as well, and one of the things that I always said about my husband is he's an extremely honest guy. When he tells you he's going to do something, he does it. When he meets you, he means it. When he sees you and talks to you, he's paying attention to you. So it's a skill you have to kind of grow into. And you have to follow that with your work environment, and you have to follow that in your home environment. And that's, how you become successful. You can't just, do the hi, how are you, and give me an order. You have to develop a long-term relationship with people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's amazing how, even in my position, I take that for granted that it's just not built into the DNA of the other humans around you.
Yes, because some people have it and some people don't.
Right.
And you can't make somebody something they're not. So, and it's very difficult when you have somebody who's good at certain things working for you, and they're, you know, your salespeople, you want them to be out there, and they just don't have it, and you can't force it, you know? And, but it's an interesting conversation that you're having.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. What do you do? I'm curious, because you sound
my
very
husband
successful.
and I have we were retired, and then we bought another business. We retired out of the semiconductor business, both of us, and we bought, believe it or not, we went from high tech to low tech. We have a small distributorship of hardware, so we actually sell screws and bolts, which is very interesting because we meet so many people in Houston that have been around here forever because we're East Coasters.
Okay.
And they have such great stories about Houston and about how it's built and where. I mean, that's what I love the best about being in sales is that you get to meet people who have stories.
Yes.
And your life intertwines with their life, and it becomes a partnership, you know?
I love it. And you know what? If you can stay on the line when you leave, we could get your information because I want to talk to you offline, off air.
Oh, okay. No problem.
I appreciate your calls and your comments and your great insight. It was very well received. Thank you, Jean.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, hang on there.
You could just sense her passion, and,
Yes.
and that's so important
Yeah.
too about being successful. Believing in yourself. One of the things is that a lot of people think that, you know, people are automatically going to believe in you, that they want to be your rainmaker.
Right.
But you have to be able to tell your own story and be able to get people to buy into you and be passionate about it. So,
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking about as far as knowing what you bring to the market.
Right.
There's so many people that are, I notice like the higher up you go with education and experience, the harder it is for you to figure out what to do. And so you just kind of tell people you do everything.
Right.
She said something very key is that not everyone has a skill set. Oh, yeah. And it's important to identify what your skill set is. You mentioned, Joe mentioned that he was very shy and he may not, you know, maybe 6 months ago have approached you. Right. But, you know, to build on your skill set, to first recognize what they are, recognize what your weaknesses are, and to build on those weaknesses and then step out of your comfort zone.
That is awesome. Yeah. So let's bring up the other caller. And, wow, that was a good point. Hello, welcome to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour. Kenneth, what's going on?
Yes, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. I had a question about implementation. I didn't really hear the last caller, but it sounds like she was talking about being confident in who you are and how that will kind of relay into your success.
Right.
But as far as implementation, when you guys are talking about networking and you're gathering all this information and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, how did your guest kind of get it started? Like, when did they know that they were started and that was what they were doing? And, you know, like for Joe, he kind of grew up putting car stereos together. Kiera kind of sounds like she just kind of started all of a sudden and she jumped into that career. So how did she do that?
It's pointed at you.
Oh, okay. Mine is kind of a long story. I've always had businesses ever since I was a kid. I was the kid who had the candy for sale in high school and in junior high, and everything that people didn't have, I had it. So I would sell it for 10 times as much as it really needed to be sold for. But, you know, I never went with that. The first business I had was actually a music store, and in a nutshell, music was the thing to do for a while. It's always because I had the new stuff and everyone wanted the new music, so I had it first and I charged for it and we made money. But, you know, of course, that industry hasn't done so well. But really, what I did was try to expand on the things that we could offer people. Yeah. So that they're buying music, okay. But they wanted to buy other things because they were just kind of hanging around. And it was next door to a nail shop.
Yeah.
So we would let people who had products bring in their products to sell. So if you had shirts, if you had shoes, if you had earrings, if you did whatever, if it was nice and I liked it, you know, we let you sell it on consignment there. And that was an added bonus to our business, and we were happy about that.
Right.
Well, what ended up happening is that after a while, some of the business owners would send people in to have people buy their things, and then everything would be fine if we had a check ready for him. In the case that we didn't, we had.
Yeah. Okay, Kenneth, can you hang on with us? All right. If he's still online, we'll talk to him. Otherwise, we'll finish up with that. We're going to go to break, check on traffic and weather. We'll be right back after these messages.
News 92 FM, weekend traffic.
Still working the accident at US 290 eastbound at 43rd, blocking the right lane. Stop and go traffic starts at Tidwell. Also stop and go traffic, Highway 6 northbound between Leaf Clodine and West Park. And it's stop and go on Highway 99, the Grand Parkway, southbound between Fry Road and Westheimer. I-10, the Katy Freeway, avoid this area. Inbound at Highway 99, road is shut down with construction. You got solid stop traffic through the area. It's a 38-minute delay. They'll pick it up at 5 o'clock Monday morning. Gary Rice, News 92 FM, 24 hours traffic.
Good day, everybody. Mario Gomez here with the weather forecast for your weekend. Dense overcast skies today here in town. Looks like we're going to see a stray shower to the north and west of the Houston area. Too dry for moisture here in town, so rain chances only at about 10% north and west of the city. Look for temperatures to only approach 70. Tonight, we're looking at still cool numbers around town. The clouds really keeping the sun at bay, holding numbers down into the mid to upper 50s. By Sunday, more sunshine allows temperatures to warm up into the low to mid 70s. The big changes come on Tuesday as a strong Canadian air mass takes over. We'll find numbers dipping down into the mid to upper 30s with some frost likely north and west of the city. I'm meteorologist Mario Gomez from the Key HOU11 Weather Center.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
So I knew it was important to have life insurance to protect our family, but I was putting it off. But then yesterday, a girlfriend of mine asked me, point blank, what would happen if you lost your husband? How would you pay the bills? The mortgage, the car payments, food. And that's when it really hit me, and I realized I needed to get us life insurance right now. So I called AIG Direct, and in less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $18 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing the kids and I are protected. And my husband was so happy I got the quote.
Save up to 70% when you get term life insurance through AIG Direct. Call now for a free, no-obligation quote. It only takes 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. 1-800-425-9364. That's 1-800-425-9364. Call 1-800-425-9364.
Welcome back to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Profit. Remember, you can watch and listen to our show at www.eehour.com. Call 713-622-6397. Again, that's 713-622-6397 to join in. Now back to our program.
Thanks for bringing us back, Faith. Okay, Kenneth, you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, thanks, buddy. So I'll tell you firsthand, just real quick, the quick answer to this is through volunteering, and that's where we're going. I know everyone in this room, for the most part, except Joe, who I met. I wasn't volunteering. But because at some point I decided I was going to use my computer skill, background in TV, background in building stuff, and just whatever it would take to fit in. But I was selective in getting with groups that, one, appreciated the time I was putting in, and that could then turn around and reference me or endorse or testimonies or whatever to help me get to the next level. So I've been with SCORE for 10 years with the Service Corps of Retired Execs. In your case, what type of business are we talking about?
I'm a medical professional, so I own a couple clinics in Houston. But so how do you what defines the next level? What is that? Is it financial success? Is it admiration for the work that you do? What defines that level for you?
To each person, it's completely a personal decision. For me, I think it comes down to making more money with less stress. There's certain levels, or the fewer hours I work each week, as it inversely relates to the more money I make. It's great, and there is a break even, or there is a ceiling to it. It only takes so much money to live a comfortable life. I want to spend time with my friends and family, but I'll let Catherine, Camille, Joe, anybody want to jump in?
Well, if it's branding, because it sounds like he's already successful from a a community perspective. He has clinics. Not sure where it is where he wants to go to, but I'm going to give Camille a commercial. If he wants to move to the next level in regards to his clinic, then that comes to marketing. And Camille would be his person that he would want to give a call to.
So the question really had to do with what is the next level,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for your list, for your guest that you have there, for Joe, he started out doing it in his garage. I'm assuming. Where does he aspire to go to, and how is he going to get to that level?
I think most people, the passion is what drives, is going to drive you to kind of find your own next level. A lot of people are financial. A lot of people are, I want to work out of the house and be with my kids, which I think we all love to do. But I think for me, it's more of a challenge. Whenever I have a challenge in front of me, it's almost like you're a gambler.
Yeah.
What's the challenge? Well, here's the challenge in front of me is all these, big box stores and online. How can I maneuver myself to stay afloat and be successful with a lot of competition around me? I think that's what drives me. And when I do that, I feel successful myself.
Ditto. I'm there.
Yeah. Definitely.
You have to know what the goal is as well. Like Catherine said, depending on what his business is, if he wants 10 more stores, 100 more stores in 5 years, he has to identify and make a plan and get a blueprint for how to accomplish that plan.
Yeah.
So, Kenneth, I appreciate if you could stay on the line so we can get your information, and then we could take this conversation offline with the team. And I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we got about 3 minutes left. Let's get some parting shots out. Ladies first. Kiera, what do you want to say?
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. You've been a super blessing. Like I said, you got me out of my man cave to go out there and interact with people a little bit more. Camille?
Again, think about where you want to go. If you're in business and you want to grow, just think about what that growth is and make a strategic plan.
How to get a hold of you? How do they get a hold of you?
It's Camille, CAMILLE, @scottmediallc.com.
Catherine?
I'm going to stick to the preparation plus opportunity plus access equals success. And a lot of times you can't do that by yourself.
Right.
So make sure that you have a good core team that you're working with and you're getting some solid feedback. Creating that roadmap. You should look at yourself as a business, and so you should have a business plan for yourself. If that's the product that you're working with. So,
great, Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, I think anybody getting started or wanting to start their own business needs to make sure they go out and get a bunch of no's first.
Right.
If you don't get no's, you're never going to get a yes.
Right.
So that's one thing I learned the hard way. And also, if you pick up any sales book or, promotion books or anything like that, they're going to tell you that, have a bunch of no's, and right around the corner, you'll have a yes. Absolutely. For whatever you ask for.
Absolutely. So once again, how do they get a hold of you?
Best thing is to call our office at 713-526-0022.
Okay, and just remember, we're streaming this live. It'll be in the archive. We'll push it up to YouTube probably this afternoon, and you can find it on SoundCloud. But for all this information, go to eehour.com. That's eehour.com for more information on whether you want to be part of the show or you want to watch a show from the past. But once again, we got a busy week coming up again. I know on the 19th, let's see, so next weekend we have some award ceremonies going on during the week. Oh, first let me say hello to all my kids over at YEA, or my Young Entrepreneurs, over at the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. This week I want to definitely thank Michael Davenport, attorney at law, who came in and gave us some information about how to protect the business. So with that said, you've been listening to the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Johnny Prophet and his awesome associates and friends and colleagues. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk, see, and listen to you soon.
KROI Seabrook, Houston. News 92 FM. News 92 FM. Weekend traffic.
Watch for the accident US 290 eastbound at 43rd, blocking the right lane. Stop and go traffic starting at Tidwell. US 290 HOV lane eastbound is stop and go between Bingle Road and 43rd Street. And 610 northbound is stop and go between Evergreen and Woodway. And Highway 99, the Grand Parkway southbound between Fry Road and Westheimer is stop and go. I-10 Katy Freeway shut down inbound at Highway 99, the Grand Parkway for construction.